Hello, Bahamas. It's time to pray. Uh, Recently, well, it's November the 24th as I make this video. Recently, there was a situation where 18 tourists were robbed at gunpoint. And this has sent many Bahamians, uh, sensibly, into an uproar about how can people, even if you're a criminal, how can you rob tourists? Because the Bahamas' number one industry is tourism. So if you rob the tourists no longer come and we lose our major industry. And which means we lose the money which is coming in, which is the money you want to steal. So if there is no money, how can you rob someone? So the question is why? And we're in an uproar about this. And we are saying these people are depraved, selfish, evil people. And there's also just been a major increase in general crimes, robberies, all kind of crimes, even murder, sadly, in the Bahamas. I'm pretty sure soon we will have passed the the record of last year, or maybe the year before, of murders. And many of us, especially Christians, are looking and saying something needs to be done. We're looking, in general, we're looking at the government, we're looking at ministers, we're looking at the police, and we're saying, you're failing. And we're specifically angry with the criminals, and we're saying, you're failing. And it's time to pray. But before we come into the prayer, let me say this. Remember when it used to be that it took what was the saying? A village to raise a child, or it takes a nation to raise a child. The thing I'm trying to propose to us Bahamians is that while there are two men out there who committed a severe crime, the truth of the matter is those two men did not become those hardened criminals of their own simple choice. There had to be circumstances that will take a child, an innocent child, it was like a sheet of paper, and turn that child into a hardened criminal because of the world around them. So let me ask a couple of us questions. Many of us would first say, okay, he is guilty, the criminal, but that also means the criminal's parents are guilty for raising him wrong. And I say yes. Many parents today have been lazy parents in the Bahamas. Many parents no longer discipline their child. Many parents are still children, and so they do not pay proper time. Sadly, many people have children that they ignore. They don't even know. Many of our men don't know who their children are. So yes, parents are definitely to blame. And then also you can say some of the parents allow their children to be criminals because they are benefiting financially from this crime. But then let me also say, okay, what about the police? The police are to blame too. Sadly, you would agree with me that too often police show up once the person is dead, or the police are more proactive when it gets really bad than when it's actually simple. Have you ever seen a situation where there's a crisis and the police is driven past it while it's a small uproar? Well, I don't know the jurisdiction, but many of the police are guilty for not really devoting themselves to their jobs. But let me ask, what about the schools these people went to school in? Did all of their teachers really show love and care, or did some people treat those children as statistics, good for nothing children from bad homes that would turn into criminals? So I was not going to waste my time trying to teach you. I'll focus on the talented children. I know many teachers are definitely like this. So teachers are now guilty. Well, what about their neighborhood? Many people, sadly, especially in the black community, believe in the concept no snitching. So we see crimes happening, but we say it's not my business. I'm not doing it. I have nothing to do with it, so we stay out of it. So we allow criminals to continue and to thrive, but we say nothing to the police because we say the police is the enemy. But because of this very nature of not assisting the police with criminals, we allow criminals to have the upper hand, and so we too in the criminal environment, if we know of criminals who are doing crimes and we say nothing, we too are guilty. Then let us ask, what about people on the church? What about people in the church? How we relate to them? Do we act superior to these criminals that we don't really want them around? So when they come to church, do you kind of, clutch onto your purse or watch your wallet because you know they might steal something? Or you got to keep them in the back of the church because you don't really want them coming up front and embarrassing your church? Isn't the church a ministry for people who need Christ? So in a sense, the church members are guilty. And now let me ask some other questions, not even relating it to those people. I will say that people become what they see. A child becomes what they see. Let's ask this Bahamians. How many Bahamians during this holiday shopping season, when you come back from the States, are going to actually declare the stuff you bought to customs and pay the customs rate? Many won't. Guess what? While those people are thieves who robbed the tourists, you also are a thief for not paying customs. Let's ask church people, pastors. Are there not many pastors who have beautiful churches, and you have members in this beautiful church who are poor, relying on national insurance benefits, but you tell them give them your offering and tithe, and you own a Bentley, you own a mansion, you live well? You are robbing your members. This is not what it's meant for. You're supposed to be supported, but you're not supposed to be made wealthy while your church suffers. What about who can I ask? Government officials who are supposed to stop the crime? What about politicians? Is it true to say that you are not stealing? Are you truly working for the poor Bahamian? Or is it not honest that government officials, I'm not just talking about I'm talking about FNM or PLP, whoever is truly in power at any time, do not they generally cater to the millionaires? And they work quickly to deal with situations when something happens to a millionaire or the people who bring them money and not the poor Bahamian. Let's be honest. Would there really be such an uproar if the people robbed were 18 Bahamians? They might be like, wow, you robbed 18 Bahamians, but it would not be that big of a deal because they're robbing tourists. The government is upset. So you two are a thief in the sense that you are robbing your constituents, your citizens, because you promised to take care of Bahamians, but truthfully, your number one concern is not Bahamians. It's generally tourists, rich people, and yourself. You are also generally many MPs. Not saying everyone, not in all categories. I'm saying everyone. Many are though thieves.